Point of order, the honourable member from Abbotsford.
As Mr. Speaker, during question period today, the member for North Island Powell River directed a comment at us here in the back benches and directed at me as well. And she used the term shut up. Now, she is a member that generally conducts herself in a very civil manner. But today, using the term shut up is a manner unbecoming of a parliamentarian. And you know, Mr. Speaker, that it is you who, in fact, ensures civility within this House. You are the one who corrects us when we use language that is unbecoming. She actually repeated the remark when I asked her, "Did you tell us to shut up?" She said, "Yes, shut up." That is behavior unbecoming of a parliamentarian. So, Mr. Speaker, I would ask you to ask her to apologize for that remark and to withdraw it unconditionally. Thank you.
Good job, Ed. Good job.
I see the honourable member from North Island Powell River is rising. The honourable member.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And of course, I thank the member for bringing up how disruptive the Conservatives continue to be in this House. And just to clarify the record, I actually didn't tell him to shut up the second time. I told him to shush. So I will not be withdrawing, and I hope their behavior gets better.
I thank the honourable member from Abbotsford for raising this issue. It was brought to my attention. I know that members, we all could do a lot to improve decorum in this House, and I hope that we all will. But this issue was raised by the member of Abbotsford, and the member from North Island Powell River acknowledged that she used language which certainly causes disorder in the House. I would ask the honourable member from North Island Powell River if she would do the honourable thing and withdraw that comment.
No, Mr. Speaker, I certainly will not.
Before I move on with points of order, I'm going to just deal with this matter first. I'm going to ask, again, the honourable member from North Island Powell River is a long-time member. We've served together in this House on many committees. Out of respect to the chair, I will ask her once again if she could please withdraw that remark.
And I have served many years with you, Mr. Speaker, but my concern is very serious about the fact that members who are asking questions are silenced again and again by the Conservatives. So out of respect, I will not withdraw, and I don't mean that personally. So sad that the Conservatives have very sensitive feelings about it.
I'm afraid I have no choice but to ask the member because to not follow through with a request from the chair, I'm going to have to ask the honourable member please to leave the chamber. I see that the honourable member from Hamilton Centre is rising on a similar point of order.
Mr. Speaker, on the question, I think it's important for us to reflect on what has transpired in this House. You'll recall that there was a member from Regina who absolutely insulted a member. Sir, you gave him his entire question back, and yet when the disruption of this backbench, some who don't have the privilege of asking questions in this House decided to interrupt my question, I did not receive the opportunity to ask it in full. It is at that point when the intervention happened, Mr. Speaker. So if it is on the question of disruption, you should note the heckling that's happening right now. Note the disorder in this House right now, Mr. Speaker, and I encourage you to reflect on what you've just did to this member, this honourable member from our party, when these people continue to act completely out of order in this House.
Yeah.
So colleagues, we're coming back to the point of why it is so important for us to conduct ourselves with dignity in this place. The honourable member from Hamilton Centre has raised an important point, and I would like to point out to the honourable member that the chair actually did hear his question up until a certain point, and then not being able to hear the honourable member, as I mentioned, from the chair, I gave the honourable member more time to finish his question. First of all, I sought order in the House and asked the honourable member, give him more time to finish his question, to start further up. The honourable member from Regina Leuven, at the top end of his question, used language which was uncomplimentary, and I asked him to rephrase his question, which he did. But, colleagues, you know, it is very difficult to sit in this chair and to have members act in a way which is really not befitting to this place. And sometimes the chair raises the issue when the chair feels compelled that the chair has to do that. Sometimes members raise the issue. And when members raise the issue, that is a time that the chair has to deal with it. And as a result, it was with great regret that I asked a member from North Island Powell River to leave this place for the day, and because it was at the request of the chair to ask for that comment to be withdrawn so that that disorder or order can be restored to the House as was raised by the member of Abbotsford. That's the only reason why that had happened. I ask all members to remind themselves that once again, the chair can only go so far as members will permit the chair to go. It requires members to act in a manner that is befitting of this place. I think we all can learn from this situation. I see the honourable member from the very experienced member from New Westminster, Burnaby, rising in his place on a point of order.
Mr. Speaker, it is not up to any individual member to try to get the respect in the House that the Conservatives consistently refuse to show. And so I would ask you to use the tools that you have available to you. We have granted you the ability to dock questions when the Conservatives are causing disorder, as they do so frequently. I would ask you to exercise the powers you have and dock their questions so that members, like the member from North Island Powell River, are not forced to try to intervene to stop them from allowing us to ask questions in the House of Commons.
And I thank the member from New Westminster Burnaby for that intervention. And indeed, the chair is increasingly reaching that point where, with proper warning, we'll start probably moving down that way. I hope I don't have to. And I hope that members will be able to conduct themselves in a way that is befitting of this place. The honourable member from Leeds Grenville, Thousand Island and Rideau Lakes, I see is rising, I'm assuming on a similar point of order.
Same point of order, Chair. The NDP House Leader, the member for Timmins, James Bay, the member for Hamilton, we can check off everyone on the list. the members of the fourth party in the House create the same level of disorder as all members do, and engaging in heckling like is happening right now. But Speaker, you know what? That's part of the customs that have been adopted by this place. And the matter at hand is that the Speaker made a ruling, and now in succession we have NDP members standing up and chastising the Speaker for ruling the wrong way. That's not how it works in this place. Members of the official opposition, when asked to withdraw, in spite of their continuing to hold the convictions of what they've said, out of deference to the chair, have withdrawn and apologized. And when they have not done so at any point in history, they've been ejected. And that's how this place works. We don't have every member then stand up and challenge the chair's ruling, because frankly, that's unparliamentary and unbefitting any member who does it. So order has been restored with the chair's ruling. We thank you for that.
I thank the member from Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands and Real Lakes for his intervention, but once again, I call on all members, because this happens, unfortunately, far too often, and it causes disorder. It is not something that I think Canadians appreciate, and I don't think any member of Parliament who spent a lot of time and effort to represent their constituents to come to this place to help pass laws and make laws and to keep governments to account wanted to participate in a place where, frankly, with behavior that would not be accepted in any other workforce or workplace in this country. So I thank the honourable member. I hope that will serve as a purpose to encourage all members to conduct themselves in a better way. I see the honourable member from Winnipeg Centre standing on her feet to raise the matter, and again, a very passionate and a very contributive member from Parliament who is rising a point of order, and I hope it will add a new dimension to this debate. The honourable member from Winnipeg Centre.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, and we've had the occasion to speak about exactly what is going on in the House. I have to say, myself, on Thursday of last week, I felt that I behaved in an unparliamentary way as well, because it is out of control on the Conservative side of the bench. Constant toxic masculinity, including harassing the member from Nunavut, which I found so offensive. What I find shocking, Mr. Speaker, with all due respect, is that this is the first occasion where this kind of severe response has been taken, yet there is a normalization of gender-based violence being perpetrated by Conservative members on that side that happens every single day in this House, all day.
Exactly.
I thank the honourable member from Winnipeg Centre.
I see that the member for Mégantic-L'Érable wants to rise. On the same issue, I imagine I will permit the member to speak on this issue, but I hope that we can then conclude this debate. If you have something new to add to this debate, thank you. The member for Mégantic-L'Érable. Mr. Speaker, I would say for some 15 minutes now, you have allowed a number of colleagues, particularly from the NDP, to express themselves and to try to make you understand their version of the facts and to challenge the decision, indeed, that you yourself made, that is to ask the member for North Island Powell River, I think that's the right name, I'm not certain, to leave this House. And since then, Mr. Speaker, the NDP members have been launching a series of accusations against the Conservative Party, accusations that are unfounded, undeserved accusations. And I would ask the member who has just spoken to withdraw her comments on those unfounded accusations that she is making here, because this is an insult to all parliamentarians to insinuate that the Conservatives show, and I won't repeat what she said just now, Mr. Speaker. It's unacceptable that you tolerated her speech, that she allowed her to complete her intervention. The comments she made about the members of the Conservative Party are unacceptable, and I would ask you, therefore, in all due respect, to ask that member to withdraw those comments and to apologize with regard to the comments she made about us. Colleagues, I think that it's very important. I want to thank the member for Mégantic-L'Érable for raising that point. I will say this is a criticism that I will review. And I see that
member from Battle. I'm trying to think of who was up first, so I think it was the member. I think it was the member from Battle River Crowfoot who had gotten up alongside the member from Windsor West. So I'm going to ask the member from Battle River Crowfoot to go first, and then I will go to the member from Windsor West.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And as an individual, and I think all parliamentarians will acknowledge fully that passions can run high in this place. But when a circumstance arose where I had faced the consequence when your deputy was in the chair, I certainly had the respect to not only respect the ruling that the Speaker had made, but also not challenge that ruling and left this place. And Mr. Speaker, I would also urge you to consider the way that the member from Kildonan St. Paul, likewise, when passions were running high in debate, had made a comment. She, again, my colleague from Manitoba, had respected the chair. And Mr. Speaker, I think that it is very, very unfortunate that the NDP would make such accusations when certainly if one wants to start going through the list, as was mentioned before, about the significant harassment that's been faced, especially from some of my female colleagues within the Conservative Party, including from members of the NDP. Mr. Speaker, it is unfortunate that there would be those accusations leveled at the Conservative Party when the fundamental issue I think at stake here is respect for the chair and the institution that represents within this place.
So I'm going to go to the member of, thank the honourable member from Battle River Crowfoot. We're getting to now into accusations of he said, she said, they said, they said. I'm hearing this has been raised. The chair clearly understands it. I want to be very clear that the member from North Island Powell River, of course, did leave the chamber on request of the chair. She has not come back in here to debate this matter, as neither did the member from Battle River Crowfoot when he had been ejected by the chair some months ago. The honourable member from Windsor West.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I don't like to rise on this. In a couple of weeks will be my 22nd year here, and I can tell you that it's different. It's not heckling. It's not a sense of involvement in the debate. It's outright bullying tactics that are taking place and verbal abuse. It's changed significantly in this chamber, and
Well said, Brian. Example. Well said.
doing it right now.
And as you may not be aware because you're on that side down the aisle of the chamber, Mr. Speaker, I can also testify that it depends upon what member rises in the House and what gender they are and what they look like will determine how they are treated. And that is something that is a regular behavior that has escalated significantly in the last number of years. In particular right now, your decision to the member for Hamilton, for example, is he had an important question to ask, and I appreciate your position on it, but he can't do in 20 seconds what he should have had the right in 35 seconds to do for his constituents and for what he wants to do for this country without the type of harassment that takes place. So I ask you to review not only what's taking place in this chamber and how you respond to it and reflect back on the years and the way that's been dealt with in the past, but also the behavior that's taking on behind the curtain in the hallways here, because they're definitely included, which spills out to the chamber here right now. And I can tell you, especially late nights that are in this place, we have young people that are exposed to behavior that is not becoming, and it is not acceptable at a workplace to have a number of different activities that are taking place that clearly are especially encouraged when the camera's off, that may not be seen when the camera's on.
Here, here.
So Well, I thank the member from Windsor West for his intervention. I'd like to thank all colleagues for standing and raising these issues. Once again, I think this points out the importance of us to conduct ourselves in a matter better than we currently do. And I think most members do conduct themselves in a way that's befitting. And sometimes when we go over the limit in a way that's just not befitting. I call on all members to please reflect on what has happened today, what has happened in the past, the sense and probably the righteous sense that some people have felt has been raised by many honourable members, so that we can conduct ourselves in a better way going forward. I thank all members for their participation in that.